ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
A couple from Vista died over the weekend in a plane crash in northern Arizona. The couple first reported as overdue by their families last night. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. As our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us, officials believe the crash actually happened last week.
Coconino Sheriff's Department say the plane took off from the Sedona airport Thursday night. The flight to the Grand Canyon only supposed to be 20 to 25 minutes long. After not hearing from their loved ones for several days, family called the Sheriff's Department. This is the plane Coconino Sheriff's officials say went down sometime Thursday night, carrying 37-year-old Timothy Gill and 38-year-old Joylani Kamalu, the couple killed in the crash. John Paxton with the Sheriff's Department says the couple was heading from the Sedona airport to the Grand Canyon airport, but went off radar Thursday night.
This is a 20 to 25-minute flight. So if they did indeed take off at 7 o'clock, this unfortunate incident happens anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes later.
On Sunday, family reported the couple, originally from Vista, as overdue.
The parents of Timothy realized that he had not shown up for work. So they kind of started researching it themselves. They hadn't received any phone calls and no returns on any of their texts.
Authorities launched an extensive search and rescue that included the U.S. Air Force. The plane wreckage discovered just after 1:30 Monday morning near the Williams Airport.
And sometimes these matters come to a very tragic end, and it's never easy trying to break this kind of news to a family.
The cause of the crash is still under investigation by the FAA, the NTSB, and the Sheriff's Department. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
The trial of the former officer accused of murdering George Floyd is now in the hands of the jury. Today, both sides gave their closing arguments in the Derek Chauvin trial. The prosecution reminded jurors of the viral video that sparked the protests, while the defense argued Chauvin's actions were justified.
A reasonable police officer would understand this situation, that Mr. Floyd was able to overcome the efforts of 3 police officers while handcuffed.
Use your common sense. Believe your eyes. What you saw, you saw. For 9 minutes and 29 seconds, he begged, George Floyd begged until he could speak no more.
45 witnesses were called over 3 weeks of testimony.
Before jury deliberations got underway, the defense filed a motion for a mistrial. They argued that comments made by California Representative Maxine Waters could sway the jury. Waters was at a protest in Minneapolis this weekend when she was asked what protesters should do if a guilty verdict wasn't reached in Chauvin's trial.
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational.
The judge denied the mistrial. The jury will stay sequestered until they reach a verdict. Chauvin faces second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter.
Turning now to coronavirus, the county reported 152 new cases today, while our test positivity rate remained low at 2%. There were no new deaths reported today. That is typical for a Monday, so that number stands at just under 3,700.
Everyone 16 and older in the U.S. is now eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. This meets the April 19th deadline set by President Joe Biden for opening up eligibility. More than 50% of adults nationwide have gotten at least one dose, but the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is adding to Americans' hesitancy. The CDC says that it will investigate the one-dose vaccine following reports of rare blood clots.
These have been a handful of cases, not an overwhelming number of cases. We are working through and adjudicating them and verifying whether they do, in fact, reflect a true case.
As well as the CDC, Dr. Anthony Fauci says the pause will likely be lifted this week.
One person is dead after a crash on the 15 in Scripps Ranch. Just after 4 o'clock, a Jeep with 3 people inside veered off the roadway and then slammed into a eucalyptus tree near Miramar Way. One person died right there at the scene. The other 2, they were taken to the hospital. It's not clear why the Jeep went off the road. The accident closed 2 lanes and slowed traffic to a crawl.
The Metropolitan Transit System and Transit Security have agreed to a $5.5 million settlement following the death of Angel Hernandez. Hernandez died back in 2019. As ABC 10 News reporter Adam Rakusin explains, MTS apologized to the Hernandez family and released video of the last moments of his life. We do want to warn you, the video is disturbing.
This stationary camera and body-worn camera video from an MTS security officer is about 20 minutes long. The video, recorded back in 2019, starts with Angel Hernandez walking near the trolley tracks and then coming face-to-face with an MTS officer.
Get against the fence?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, that fence.
Oh, that fence?
Go stand over there for me, please. He gives the MTS officer his ID, then explains what he was doing on the tracks.
What am I doing on the tracks? I was looking at my ID.
They talk for about 2 minutes, then Hernandez takes off running. The MTS officer and a transit security professional follow. They eventually catch up to Hernandez and handcuff him. The conversation goes on for a few more minutes, then you hear one of the security guards say,
"You're gonna get put on the ground if you don't stop."
Shortly after that, Hernandez is put in what they describe as a prone face-down position. He wouldn't get up again. Gene Iredale is the family's lawyer.
Angel Hernandez died as a result of positional asphyxia when he was held prone, face down, with pressure on his back, and regrettably, a knee on his neck.
The video shows both security personnel with their hands on Hernandez. You can see one of them has a knee pressing down on his back, another a knee on his neck.
Stop. Dude, stop, please.
Iredale says Hernandez suffered from schizophrenia. He says he was struggling with mental illness in that moment. About 18 minutes into the video that was released, San Diego police officers arrive, and you can hear someone ask if Hernandez has a pulse.
Angel. Hey, I got his ID right here. Wait, does he have a pulse?
He was held down with the knee on his neck for over 6 minutes.
On Monday, Hernandez's grandmother saw the recording for the first time.
After watching the video, I mean, it was hard. I feel that this never should have happened.
MTS and Transit System Security announced they'd agreed to pay $5.5 million to the family of Angel Hernandez. They also apologized and announced a series of system-wide policy changes, including banning the use of carotid restraints, chokeholds, and knee pressure on the neck, throat, or head.
I really hope that that MTS or the police can do a better job, you know, when they restrain somebody and not do what they did to Angel.
Adam Rakusin, ABC 10 News.
MTS Code Compliance Officer Ryan Berg and TSS Security Officer Jorge Lopez are no longer working for those agencies. They are not sworn officers. They were not charged with a crime. In the interest of transparency, we have posted the full video on our website, 10news.com.
A little ingenuity can go a long way, especially on Mars. NASA's Ingenuity helicopter successfully flew and then landed on the red planet this morning. That makes it the first aircraft to achieve powered flight on another planet. San Diego-based Qualcomm built the brain of that helicopter. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory was in mission control to receive and analyze the data from the attempt. Ingenuity flew to Mars aboard the Perseverance rover back in February. Together, they are now exploring Jezero Crater in search for signs of ancient life.
She has been very excited for the longest time to be part of the space program, and being able to train for this particular mission has been very, very exciting for her.
This week, 4 astronauts will launch into space with the destination of the International Space Station. The pilot of this mission is a woman very familiar with San Diego. ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pazzetti shows us how the beginning of her career started here in Southern California, showing what it means to be positively San Diego.
Megan MacArthur spent years here in San Diego studying the ocean. Then she took her explorations out of Earth's atmosphere, becoming a NASA astronaut.
Every once in a while, one of your students does something that is super out of the ordinary.
And for retired UC San Diego faculty member Bill Hodgkiss, one of his students is doing something out of this world. NASA astronaut Megan MacArthur will be piloting the SpaceX Crew 2 mission to the International Space Station, where she'll spend the next 6 months. Bill met her in the mid-90s when she began her PhD in oceanography at UCSD, which is where she was when she started her space career in 2000.
She was truly just within months of actually finishing her PhD when she got selected for the astronaut program.
She ended up putting the PhD on hold to begin her astronaut training, then later returned to finish the degree, something Bill says is extremely difficult.
I would not have expected that anyone would be able to do that. That is so hard to do, essentially managing 2 careers at the same time.
He says while she was in San Diego, she had a passion for the ocean, volunteering as a diver at Birch Aquarium, a place she's since returned to give presentations. This will be her second time in space. The first was in 2009 when she went on the final mission to service the Hubble telescope. In a previous interview, she said the preparation for this long trip is different than that 13-day trip.
When you're going to go live for 6 months and conduct different science experiments every day or do maintenance on the space station, it's a very different training approach.
Bill says he traveled to Florida to see her first launch and will be cheering her on from San Diego for this second mission.
You rarely ever expect or imagine that a student of yours is going to be able to do something as unique as going into space. And so it's been very exciting.
Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
Understandably so proud. The target launch is this Thursday at 3:11 a.m. our time from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Megan and her family now live in Houston. Her husband is also an astronaut.
Quite a family.